بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. اللهم زدنا علما وارزقنا الإخلاص في العمل. اللهم نسألك علما نافعا ونعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع. Inshallah, today the last part of Surah Al-Kahf, the fourth and last part. We've spoken about the Ahl Al-Kahf, the people of the cave, and we've spoken about the second part, and which was the guy with two gardens, and we spoke about Musa alayhi salam yesterday, and today the final part, which is Dhul Qarnain. To delve into the name, Dhul Qarnain in Arabic means the guy with two horns. Some ulama say he was named the guy with two horns because of a throne he used to, a helmet he used to wear, and others say because he owned the Mashriq and Maghrib, and there's only have been 4 people that owned the earth. Sulaiman alayhi salam, who Allah has given him an empire and miracles that no other prophet had. Dhul Qarnain, and these 2 are believers, and the 2 that are non-believers are Namrud ibn Kan'an, and that was back in Ibrahim alayhi salam's days, and Khobastar, or a similar name, and these 2 weren't believers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ, and they'll ask you, meaning the Jewish, when the Jewish when Quraysh asked the Jewish to give them questions so they can go to Prophet Muhammad and prove that he's not a prophet. And they told them, ask them about 3 things: about people that went outside their city and they only came back years after, and ask Prophet Muhammad about a guy whose name was Dhul Qarnain, who surrounded the earth. Because he owned the earth, he went to everywhere. And then third, they asked Prophet Muhammad about the spirits, which I did mention yesterday. So the spirit Allah mentioned in the surah before this, which is Allah says, Allah says, قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. The spirit is under Allah's orders and no one knows about it. The 2 other things are the people of the cave, and the last thing is Dhul Qarnain. So Allah says, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ, when they ask you, and this is what you should tell them, this is the story that they're asking you about. عن Dhul Qarnain, they'll ask you about Dhul Qarnain. قُلْ سَأَتْلُو عَلَيْكُم مِّنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Tell them that I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you everything that happened with Dhul Qarnain, which is relevant and which is important to know. Allah Azza wa Jalla then says, إِنَّا مَكَّنَّا لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا. إِنَّا مَكَّنَّا لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ, as in we have established him upon the earth. So he had his army and he had his people, that his empire was all over the earth. وَآتَيْنَاهُ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا. So we have given him from everything a way, or a reason, or a means. So what he did is he went and took one away, which is, for Allah then says, فَأَسْبَعَ سَبَبًا. So he went to the east with his army. حتى إذا بلغ مغرب الشمس. So Allah describes it until he got to where the sun sets. وجدها تقرب في عين حمئة ووجد عندها قوما. So he found people where the sun sets, which is you could say the far west. ووجد عندها قوما قلنا يا ذا القرنين إما أن تعذب وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا. So Allah Azza wa Jalla told him, these people, you either do to them إما أن تعذب, so you either punish them, وإما أن تتخذ فيهم حسنا, or you do something good to them, depending on your empire and what you think of them. So then Allah Azza wa Jalla says, قَالَ أَمَّا مَنْ ظَلَمَ فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ. This is kind of a test from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Azza wa Jalla told him, you either will punish them or you'll be good to them. So what would he do? He says, قَالَ أَمَّا مَنْ ظَلَمَ فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ. Whoever was guilty, or whoever does bad and does wrong, فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ, he deserves the punishment. ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ فَيُعَذِّبُهُ. And this is an amazing thing that I will talk about in a bit. He says, I will punish him, and when he returns to Allah, Allah will punish him. عذاب النكرة, a severe punishment, a terrible punishment, which is i.e. hellfire. وَأَمَّا مَنْ آمَنَ, and this village, whoever believes in Allah, so آمن وعمل صالحا, believe and did good. Again, these two terms have been in this surah before. Believe and do good. آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى. So Allah Azza wa Jal will give him the best reward, i.e. the paradise or heaven. وَسَنَقُولُ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرٍ يُسْرًا, and we will be kind to him, and we will talk to him in an easy manner. So going back to the way Dhul Qarnain said he'll treat the disbeliever, he said, أَمَّا مَنْ ظَلَمْ, the one who does wrong, فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ. He started with the physical and the punishment in real life. فَسَوْفَ نُعَذِّبُهُ, I will punish him. ثُمَّ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ فَيُعَذِّبُهُ, and then after that, he will return to his Lord and he'll be punished. So in this world, I'll punish him, and thereafter Allah will punish him. The verse after that, he talks about the believer, and he starts with وَأَمَّا مَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلَهُ جَزَاءً الْحُسْنَى. Allah will reward him the paradise. He didn't start with this dunya, he started with thereafter, the akhirah. Allah will give him paradise. وَسَنَقُولُ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرٍ يُسْرًا, and in this world, we'll be kind to him because of what he does, and he's doing good. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا, he finished with this people. So ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا, he took another way, and he went with his army. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَطْلِعَ الشَّمْسِ. So Allah Azza wa says, until he reached to where the sun rises. Again, i.e. to the far east. وَجَدَهَا تَطْلُعُ عَلَىٰ قَوْمٍ لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُم مِّن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. He found people on the far east, and he saw that the sun rises on a people that they have no shed from this sun. And some ulama say that for them to protect themselves from the sun, they used to dig a hole in earth and hide themselves there to protect them from the sun. So كذلك وقد أحطنا بما لديه خبرا. So Allah Azza wa says, this is from the knowledge that we have taught him and the power we have given him, that he knows the people from the far west and from the far east. ثم أتبع سببا, then he took a third way and followed a different way. حتى إذا بلغ بين السدين. That way led him to two mountains, بين السدين. وجد من دونهما قوما. He found people within between those two mountains. لا يكادون يفقهون قولا. They can barely speak. And some ulama say they could barely understand what Dhul Qarnain was saying, but they still communicated to achieve what the ayah after that says. قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن ياجوج وماجوج. They said, oh, the Qarnain, the Yajuj and Majuj. And Yajuj and Majuj, I'm sure most of you are familiar with. These are people that Allah has created. They are from Sulalat Adam. They are human beings. Some fictions say that they're not and they look different. They are human beings. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Yajuj and Majuj have descriptions, and he described them as in their faces are wide, their noses are flat, and their eyes are small. So some of the ulama say with this description, it might be people from where China is, because they have those kind of descriptions. Others say Yajuj and Majuj are them. So there's different people with different opinions, but that's not relevant to who Yajuj and Majuj is and where they are. قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن ياجوج وماجوج مفسدون في الأرض. So these people within these mountains said to Qarun, you know, Yajuj and Majuj, they're corrupt on earth. فهل نجعل لك خرجا على أن تجعل بيننا وبينهم سدا. As in, do you want us to pay you, because clearly we can see that you have power and strength, can we pay you to come and help us and build a barrier between us and Yajuj and Majuj? So Yajuj and Majuj were behind these two mountains. And between these mountains, that was Yajuj and Majuj's only exit and entrance. So Dhul Qarnain replied, قال ما مكنني فيه ربي خير فاعينوني بقوة. The power and the strength that Allah has given me is better than the money that you're offering. I'll do it for God's sake. I'm not doing it for the money that you're offering. So all I want from you is فاعينوني بقوة. Assist me, help me to actually build this barrier between you and Yajuj and Majuj. بينكم وبينهم ردمة آتوني زبر الحديد. So he thought he'll build this barrier with melted copper. حتى إذا ساوى بين الصدفين قال انفخوا. So he tried to level the two mountains. So and then he poured this molten copper. So and Allah just described حتى إذا جعله نارا, until it looked like it was fire. So he waited until it's liquid and looks like fire, that's really hot. He poured it into what's in between those two mountains. قال أتوني أفرق عليه قطرة. So after that, now these people are not from they're blocked between them and Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So Allah says, فَمَا اسْطَاعُوا أَنْ يَظْهَرُوا وَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا لَهُ نَقْبًا. So then Ya'juj and Ma'juj could not فَمَا اسْطَاعُوا أَنْ يَظْهَرُوا, could not go over this barrier, وَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا لَهُ نَقْبًا, and they couldn't even penetrate it. A nice even Arabic you could say miracle in this verse. Allah just says فَمَا اسْطَاعُوا. اسْطَاعُوا and اسْتَطَاعُوا means could. So having ma before means, well, the negative of it, so couldn't. فَمَا اسْطَاعُوا, they couldn't, أَنْ يَظْهَرُوا, go over it. Then Allah Azza uses the same word but adds one letter, the ta, making it sound فَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا. The first one is isṭa'u, the second one istata'u. Having an extra letter, making it sound even more thicker or more emphasizing in this word, which means you put in more effort. So to go over it, it was impossible. They looked high and thought, we can't do that. Whereas penetrating, they tried and put effort and they couldn't. So just by looking at that list, and that's what the ulama tafsir learned and abstracted from this verse. So, some hadith, Prophet Muhammad says that Ya'juj and Ma'juj digs into this wall every day. But after they dig, they leave. When it's in the evening time, they say, okay, we'll leave it and finish it tomorrow. So they'll go, and when they come the next day, they'll come back, and even though they dig and they were just about to penetrate and get to the other side of the wall, they come back the next day, and it's as if it's new. So they have to do it again and again. And Prophet Muhammad says they do that because they don't say inshallah, which is again mentioned in Surah Al-Kahf. I mentioned a few days ago. Allah says, وَلَا تَقُولُنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ Allah. Do not say I'm going to do that tomorrow unless Allah wills. And you should say inshallah, may Allah help me, and if Allah wills, it will happen tomorrow. So until the day of judgment, some ulama say until the day of judgment, they'll dig, and then they'll say inshallah, we'll do it tomorrow. They go, they come back, it's still where they dig, so they'll manage to penetrate it, and that's where they come out in the day of in this day of judgment. So the last verse of this story, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, قَالَ هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. So Dhul Qarnain says, what I've just helped you with and blocking you from Ya'juj and Ma'juj is all from Allah's mercy. Again, he did all that effort, but he didn't say I did it. He didn't claim anything. He said this is the power that Allah has given me, and this is from Allah's merciness. He had this mercy on you and knew that Ya'juj and Ma'juj were harming them in a way or another. So Allah made this barrier from His mercy. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا. And until the promise of Allah comes, this wall will become flat and level. وَكَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي حَقًّا. And indeed, Allah's promise is always true. This is the end of this story. Just to emphasize on this verse, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا. Some ulama say, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ, until the promise of Allah says, that's in the day of judgment, when it comes, this wall will become flat, and that's when the Ya'juj and Ma'juj leave. The ulama that says these are the people of China or etc. because they have those descriptions and there's so many of them. They say فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا, as in the wall is already flat, but that's why they're out. But it's something that's not, you could say, it's not even relevant. Learning the story and taking the lessons from it is what counts. Going back to the 4 stories, the first one, the people of the cave, Allah Azza wa Jalla tested them in their religion and in their faith, and how they reacted is they left the people that were disbelievers in their city, and they isolated themselves just to keep their faith. Imagine if that was us, what would we do? Second thing, the person with the 2 heavens, Allah Azza wa Jalla gave a person money who gave it in the sake of Allah. The second person had his 2 gardens, and he was so ignorant, he was so arrogant, and he was so proud of himself that he did all of that. Unlike Qarun says, هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. What I've just did is for Allah's mercy. And yes, when we do something and we achieve something great, it's fine if you say, yes, I did it with Allah's help, or Allah has helped me achieve this. But we should avoid claiming all the effort and everything we did. Even in Islam, when you say, هَذَا مِن فَضْلِ رَبِّي, or when you say, I did something, you're not allowed to say, I did it with the help of Allah, because you're comparing you and Allah. You should say, this is Allah's help, and I just did something. I was just a reason that Allah has made me do this thing, that whatever it is. So the third story is Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam is knowledgeable. Musa alayhi salam is a prophet with knowledge, but Allah Azza wa Jal tested his knowledge by showing him that there's this other person who's more knowledgeable than you are, and tested him with his patience. And obviously he wasn't patient because he wanted to learn. And finally, this story with Qarun's empire and Qarun's power, and yes, with the power that Qarun had, he made sure that he uses it in the sake of Allah, not misuse it. Alhamdulillah, we finished Surah Al-Kahf. So, inshallah, next week, Monday, will be a different story. I haven't decided which one, but inshallah, you'll know on Monday. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله.